What's good, everyone? Today I'm talking about a very depressing movie, in Alien 3. Now, as far as the series is concerned, this is my first time doing a first time watch. I saw the theatrical cut. I do have the unrated cut. I chose to watch it theatrical for this review. And I don't think this movie is quite the terrible garbage dumpster fire it's made out to be, but it's not great. Some of the writing, dialogue, certain choices for certain characters feel weird, and things just aren't on that same level of quality as the last two were. They took a step down. It doesn't feel like a B movie, but if this is Alien 3 and this is the other two Alien movies, and then this is a B movie, it's closer to being B movie than it is to being Alien. Now, Alien 3 goes back to the first movie where it's more isolation horror. There's only one alien instead of dozens of them. And I was interested in that approach. And this time, instead of on a spaceship, we're on a prison. We're on this planet. Only has like this one little prison on it. Otherwise, it seems to be a barren wasteland, I think. And this is the first instance of where we have a bit of a mixed bag where everyone in the prison is a sex offender who has converted to this sort of warped future version of Christianity, but not really. They don't act like it at all. They just act like sex offenders. It's just strange because it's like they're all like, oh, they're reformed and we can't have a woman around here, or they'll be turned back to their rapist ways. But it just kind of feels like they were reformed. Never strikes me as a reformed person. Lest everyone in this prison is the worst. Every character in this prison is designed to be hated except for like two of them. And that just makes for kind of a rough viewing experience. And on one hand, it's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see all these terrible people die. But that's like this movie's biggest flaw, is it doesn't know how, when, or who to kill. And it's like all the characters you get attached to, all the nice guys, they die in the worst, most gruesome way possible, just as you're getting to like trust them and like them. And then all like the evil guys, like, get killed off screen or in like uninteresting ways, and they get killed way too late, where it's just like, oh, I'm tired of dealing with this guy, couldn't you just kill them earlier? And it's just kind of an agonizing experience in that way. It's still fun, just no matter who it is, to watch aliens kill people, but it's still kind of an endurance test with some of these characters. And then by the time you get to the end, nobody you like survives. Like, only one person in the prison comes out alive, and he sort of has a redemption, but he was so much of a jerk, it doesn't really work as a redemption. It's just like, really, he's the one that gets away? It's like all the villains are the only ones that get away from it. It's just like leaves a bad taste in your mouth. The greatest crime this movie commits is those opening credits, where I would have been appalled if I did not know about that before watching this movie. That's the only thing I knew about this movie, is that all the main characters besides Ripley from the last movie get killed in the opening credits. It's a stupid decision. I do not know why they would do that. Now, when it comes to the alien itself, they changed the way it looks. It looks pretty cool. I like it. They did a lot of sort of stop motion stuff. So the practical suit effects all look great. The stop motion looks good enough. Like, they can do a lot more with it, but there are some issues with it. It's a little janky. Or at least I assume it was stop motion. Just the way it looks, the way they handled it was stop motion. But it has like the weird green outline over it the whole time, which just makes it really distracting. And the scenes where it's eating people look wrong. I'll just say that. It does not look right. But for the most part, I can kind of get past that, and all the alien stuff is pretty cool. And going back to isolated horror, they get pretty creative with the different ways that they try and kill the alien in this movie. Like, they try to blow it up, that goes horribly wrong, and then they try to pour lead on it, and that goes horribly wrong. And then they do something really interesting where they get it really hot and then super cool it, and then it explodes. And that was pretty awesome. And all the gore effects were the best of the series so far, where I have people's heads exploding and then getting chopped to bits by a huge fan. It was just almost all of the kills, not all of them. Some of them were, like off-screen, kind of dull, whatever. But most of them were really fun to watch. They were really well executed. And this movie, I think, has cemented itself as my favorite set design out of any other movie series, Where, the first one you're on the Nostromo, and second movie you're on these different spaceships, you're at this power plant, you're in all these different places. This movie you're at this prison, and it's all so believable in this sort of dystopian sci-fi setting where just everything looks perfect, it looks real, it looks believable, and it's just so immersive. It just adds so much that CGI sets, green screens could never achieve. And I've never seen any other series of movie just hit with the sets just one after the other. It's just so good. And you get some more interesting lore in this movie about the company or the network, and seeing like what their soldiers look like, and the guy who designed the Bishop AI. So it's just some really interesting stuff there. Not a whole lot, doesn't give you too much, but just enough world building there. He's getting to see the prison. All that just makes for more interesting world building. And lastly, I want to talk about Ellen's character some. I think, as far as this Alien series goes, thus far, this is Sigourney Weaver's best performance. She has a much wider range of emotions to portray in this movie, and she does it all just great. Whether it's like her being sad that her entire crew died, having to take up leadership positions after prison warden dies, how she responds to the sex offenders, and just everything that she does in this movie. She does a really compelling performance. I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about her big sacrifice at the end. They did it kind of weird because it's like for like half the movie she's like suicidal because she has the Xeno Queen inside her, and then she gets the perfect opportunity to go down with the alien, and then the black guy is like, I'll kill you after we kill the alien, and then he sacrifices himself completely unnecessarily. And it's like, okay, well, who's gonna kill Ripley? And she ends up killing herself, and it's sort of like played like a sacrifice. It kind of works. I don't know. I don't really know if that's how I wanted the Ripley character to end. I think she gets like cloned in the next one. I'm not sure, but whatever. As far as this movie goes, I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about it because it just goes through so many different phases where it's like, oh, she's suicidal, but I don't want her to die. And then it was like, okay, well, what if it's a sacrifice instead of a suicide? Then you're going to feel better about it. But it's like, I still didn't want her to die. But they also kind of handled it kind of well. It was weird. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. Overall, I give this movie a 6 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's just bleak, oppressive tone. Just being stuck in a prison with no hope. All their friends are dead. Everyone here is a criminal that hates you. Only the bad guys survive. Our heroes all die. Really depressing movie. Makes it a bit of an endurance test at times. That all the alien stuff is still pretty fun, but even then, the effects are a little bit hit or miss. So it's not terrible, but I didn't love it. Big step down from the last two. But yeah, that's about all I got for Alien 3. Thanks for watching.